In this problem, we are going to discuss compound units. So compound units are going to be units that are combined together to be able to demonstrate a particular rate or some form of relationship between two units. So the example that we're going to be looking at right now is miles per hour and meters per second. So miles per hour is telling us distance over time. Meters per second also is indicating to you distance over time, but it's just using different units of distance and time. So what we're going to recognize here is this is an abbreviation. MPH is the abbreviation that we use to indicate miles per hour. But when we say 35.8 MPH, what this means is 35.8 miles per 1 hour. So that means that you are traveling a distance of 35.8 miles within 1 hour, miles per hour. That's what we usually discuss here. In the United States, we measure distance per time as miles per hour. But in other locations, they may use meters per second, kilometers per minute. So anything with the metric units, okay? So we are going to learn how we can convert from miles per hour into meters per second. You are given that 1 mile is equal to 1.609 kilometers. Okay, so that's going to allow us to convert miles into kilometers. But what units do we want? We want meters. So what other relationship do we need to be aware of? What does kilometers indicate? 1 kilometer equals to how many meters? 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters, according to what we learned in our prefixes. Now, let's think about, so that allows us to convert our distance from miles into meters using these two relationships. But now we also need to consider the time. Now, we need to also change the bottom portion of the units here. So we still are going to apply the same concept, canceling diagonally, but we're going to see that it's going to be different direction in which we are canceling. We'll talk more about that once we get to setting up our dimensional analysis. But for right now, let's think about, we have hours that we're starting with, and we want to get to seconds. How many seconds are in 1 hour? You can easily think about that if you know it off the top of your head, or you can think about it in terms of minutes, and then how many seconds are in a minute. So we know that 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes, and we know that 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. Okay. So I want to set it up this way so that I can show you the multiple step conversions that we can make for this type of calculation. Using each one of these equivalences, we can make connections to be able to change the units from miles per hour into meters per second. Okay, so I know it sounds complex right now, but what we're going to do is we're just going to follow what the units tell us. We want to just follow what steps do we need to take to be able to change the miles and change the hours. Okay, so I'm going to move this down a little bit just to allow myself enough space to go all the way across the board here. So we're going to be starting with 35.8 miles per 1 hour. Okay, now we want to change miles. Now, what relationship do we have that connects miles to the metric system? 1 mile is equal to 1.609 kilometers. So we're going to say our first conversion. I'm going to start with the top. If you wanted to start with converting the bottom first, that's fine. But I'm going to start here with the top. So I'm going to change the miles into kilometers. So whatever units you want to change, those are the ones you cancel diagonally. So I'm going to then put miles on the bottom. 1 mile equals to 1.609 kilometers on top. Cancel the units diagonally. Now that gives us kilometers on top per hour on the bottom. We want to get to meters per second. So now the next step, we can change the kilometers to meters using this relationship. 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. So again, you're just following the units. We want to cancel the kilometers diagonally. So we cancel them diagonally to achieve the desired unit that we want on top. Okay. So that's going to give us now meters on top and hours on the bottom. So we still need to cancel out these hours on the bottom to change them to seconds. So what relationships do we have here? We know that 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. Okay, so let's start with that. Now, if we have hours on the bottom here, and we want to change the units, we need to change the units by canceling hours on the top. Remember, diagonal. So 1 hour on the top is 60 minutes. Okay. And then that allows us to cancel hours. And then the final step is going to be changing your minutes to seconds. We know that 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. Ran out of space. I didn't move it down low enough. It's okay. So we know that 1 minute is 60 seconds. So we're changing minutes on the bottom to seconds on the bottom. That's what we are achieving here in our compound unit. So 1 minute goes on top to cancel diagonally, and seconds goes on the bottom. 60 seconds is in 1 minute. Okay, so now what you want to double check is to make sure you have the units that you desire on top and bottom. So we have meters on top, seconds on the bottom. Everything else is canceled. So that is what we were looking to achieve in our units. So now once the units are complete, then it will be a matter of just doing the math. Starting on the left side, we're going to do 35.8 times 1.609 times 1,000 divided by, because the 60's here on the bottom, 60, then divide by 60 again. So now it will be a matter of doing the calculation and solving, and then identifying what to round your digits to. So 35.8 times 1.609 times 1,000 divided by 60, divided by 60. Now what you should be seeing in your calculator is, make sure this marker works. I'm grabbing a different one. In your calculator, you see 16.000611111. Okay, so this is what your calculator is giving you. Now, we don't need all of these digits according to our significant figure rules. We only keep the number of significant figures that we start with, okay? So this number, this value will limit the number of digits that we write in our final answer. So 35.8 has 1, 2, 3 significant digits. Therefore, our final answer will also require only 3 significant digits, 16.0, because this does not round the 0 up. So this would be 16.0, and then the units, meters per second. Okay. Sure you can still see that. Oh, there's a little glare there, so. Yeah, that didn't really help much, but I hope that you are able to see that entire calculation. And if you have any questions, please, of course, plan to join my office hours.